Someday, and that day may never come, I may call upon you to do a service for me. Until that day, accept this as a gift.
You know, this is probably the best time to review the Godfather Blackhand Edition for the Wii. After all, it's become tradition for cable TV to play the Godfather film every Christmas and Thanksgiving. What better way to celebrate the holidays with your family than watching another family bump people off with car bombs, piano wires, and a good old bullet to the head? I'll try to review this game without spoiling too much of the movie, even though this game was really made for fans of the film. And it's a good film, so people who haven't seen it should. At least the first one. I wouldn't bother with the third one. The story of the game follows the story of the first Godfather film, but from the perspective of the nameless protagonist who as a child witnesses his father get murdered by Don Barzini. Understandably, he wants revenge, but Don Vito Corleone stops him and reassures him that when he's old enough and when the time is right, he will take his revenge. Fast forward 9 years later, and your character gets recruited by Luca Brasi to become a member of the Corleone family. You play through your character's own story that follows along with the events of the film as you work your way up the ranks in the family, meeting different characters from the film along the way. Being half Italian myself, these characters are all too familiar to me. Except in my family, nobody gets whacked. As far as I know. Your ultimate goal is to return control of New York City to the Corleone family, then become the Don of New York. The story of the game doesn't have as much impact as the excellent story from the original film, but it's an entertaining story nonetheless.
I'm calling the ambulance, Monk.
No.
You'll be all right.
Frankie, my sister, she's out there. Are you sure she's okay?
Blackhand Edition does have good graphics, but with some leftover 6th gen traits since this game actually came from the original Xbox. There are good character models despite some blockiness, along with good facial animations and motions. The faces are animated to look like the characters from the film, and the faces are well made for the video game versions. But the facial and body movements can sometimes get stiff and recycled during conversations, and you notice this because sometimes a gesture works, while other times it looks kinda out of place. The environment of the game is about on the same level. The environments don't look good, mainly due to the muddy textures, but they do a good job at establishing an immersive open-world New York, the open world being perhaps one of the game's biggest highlights. The music here is based on the music of the film, and it works great for this game. There are also great sound effects for the scenes of violence that occur, explosions, shooting, beating the crap out of somebody, and so on. The voice acting is good too, with a few of the movie actors like Robert Duvall and James Caan reprising their old roles. Although some of the dialogue sounds a bit cheesy, the voice acting is still good overall. But unlike the film, there's not as much of a dialogue focus. Since this is a game, there's a lot more action and violence. Now this is a single player only game with the only extras being some videos, but the gameplay is well put together. Understandably, people often refer to this game as GTA The Godfather Edition, as it uses a lot of GTA's open world mechanics for a basic blueprint, yet it has enough differences to make it its own game. As you play, you have to accomplish main story missions, most of which are taken directly from the movie, meaning you have to plant the gun in the restaurant bathroom for Michael, exact justice on the 2 boys who beat up Bonacera's daughter, and whack Polygato, just to name a few. But some of these movie missions will have their own twists for the sake of this game, like this one.
There's been a change of plan. You've just been erased.
The people who send you on these missions will give you some background info on what scene prompted the mission, and it's pretty cool to see classic events from the film through the eyes of another character. Some of the missions are made specifically for the game's own story, yet these plot points manage to fit in with the overall story of the game. There is some repetition in the gameplay, but in general, missions each present their own challenges, and sometimes those challenges can be pretty tough, sending your character to the hospital a few times until you manage to conquer that racket or hideout. Now there's a good amount of things to do in this game which adds depth to the gameplay. First, there's the side missions. You can run around the open world New York City extorting businesses to earn money and take more control of the city. These present their own challenges of finding the weak spot of the business owner to convince him or her to pay you. Sometimes it's better to buy them out or to do them a favor. It depends on the owner, but experimenting to see what threat makes them give in is entertaining. Other side missions include carrying out contract assassinations and doing favors for people loyal to the Corleones. To make things easier for you, you can upgrade your skills with points you've earned, bribe an FBI agent to stop a mob war, or you can bribe or blackmail cops to keep the heat down. Talk about crooked cops. If you bribe them well enough, they'll fight for you so you can get to safety, and even literally turn their backs while you kill some guy in the street. Funny little aspect there, as long as you don't take things too far. The higher rank you get, the more perks and weapons you acquire for usage in combat and assassinations, such as being able to call upon a 4-man hit squad for those tough challenges. This all makes the game fun to play, especially for fans of the film. But how do the controls work for this game, since it is a Wii game? As you can probably guess, Blackhand uses the Wii remote and nunchuck control scheme. Those of you who've watched my reviews of Mortal Kombat Armageddon and Splinter Cell Double Agent are now probably expecting me to say that the controls suck. But they don't. In fact, the use of the Wii motion and pointer controls is superb. This is one of the few early third-party games to actually make good use of the Wii controls. Most of the controls are done with buttons and you move your character with the analog stick. The pointer is used for aiming and shooting at enemies. There is the option to just lock on to a target, but free aiming allows for more precise kill shots at the head or disarm shots and cripple shots to hands, arms, and kneecaps. Like certain other third-person action games, Blackhand Edition uses a D-pad for camera controls. This works much better and much less awkward than some pointer camera third-person Wii games. Now, the motion controls work very well. They make the hand-to-hand combat more immersive and fun. The motion reading isn't perfect, but it's still good. You lock onto an enemy similar to Zelda Z targeting to get into a boxing match or straight up beatdown. This game reads different punches and grabs and other strikes great, reading jabs, crosses, hooks, and killer finishing moves. The motion controls even make tossing someone across the room or slamming their head into a table feel even more brutal. While classic controller support would have been a nice addition, the Wii controls work so well that you really don't need it. For a game based on a movie, the Godfather Blackhand Edition is a surprisingly good Wii game. Despite some flaws here and there, there's a lot of this game to love. If you're a fan of The Godfather or you're a Wii owner looking to play a GTA type game, this is a good game to play.
He used to be somebody I could trust.
He was drunk. He fell. It was an accident.